My wife and I just made it back from our little hiatus from the Earthbag project. We spent the last 9 months traveling for work, for my work. We were in Colorado for 4 months and North Dakota for the last 5 months. Anyway, you've seen a previous video of where we left off in this Earthbag project, and we're about to take a look and see how everything looks now, how everything held up to the weather, the elements. And let's go take a look. You can see there's been lots of rainstorms since we've been gone, and the weather has taken a toll to some degree. You can see there's a lot of weeds, plants growing. You can see the black tarps there in the background. We put a temporary roof on the utility room. You can see there's a brown tarp on top of that. We did everything we could covering these other walls. Blue tarps, black plastic. But in some places it wasn't quite enough. Stormy weather is still able to blow a lot of these tarps off. It's very challenging trying to keep this on. My family was here. It's a little bit challenging for them to keep everything covered. Alright, so looking down right here, these are the lowest bags, and these are ones, we definitely don't want that. That's mostly the gravel. They were double layered gravel bags on the bottom. This is a south facing wall, so it had the most sunlight facing towards it. So we'll hurry up and put some fill dirt in here and gravel to make sure that no more of that gravel comes out of the bags. Alright, looking up high here, it's a little bit harder for my family to get up high to keep this covered, keep it maintained. You can see that some of those bags, the plastic has come off with the woven polypropylene. We had a little layer of papercrete on top, hoping that this would be enough to protect these bags, but as you can see, some of it ended up coming off and exposing the bags. And where the plastic was exposed, you can see there's no longer any plastic here. This is our screenings from the rock quarry and clay mix from the clay slip you've seen in a previous video. You can tell this is a pretty good mix. It's nearly hard as concrete, and if it's continuously exposed to the weather, it will continue to flake like so. So we will be getting this covered up real soon so that there will be no more deterioration of these walls. We have our foundation here. We have the styrofoam we're using for the going about 12 inches above ground level, 12 inches below ground level. And it's a pond liner. That's the black that you can see here. And it's holding up really well. And it's designed to withstand the sunlight, solar radiation. The white plastic, the 6mm plastic, did not hold up quite as well. Anywhere where it's not on the south side of the wall, it's holding up a lot better. But the main thing, this plastic is buried underground here. This black pond liner goes straight down to make sure that any water that gets in the foundation will go straight down to the rubble trench foundation and out through the French drain. This plastic here is actually underneath this dirt, coming down about 2 to 3 feet away from the house and sloping outwards. And so as long as it's not exposed to the sunlight, that should be just fine. So any rain that comes off the edge of the house here will still be led further away from the house. And just these two piers here, you can see this is the foam that's back behind the pond liner. This pier and the other pier over there are the only two I didn't manage to get covered up before we had to leave last November. So I'm going to be running a Mini X over the next week. I'll run it for a day, mini excavator, and all this earth that's piled up away from the house, that was originally from digging the foundation, and now it's time to push it all up next to the house and slope the dirt away. This is one of our 2 areas where we're mixing the clay slip, separating the clay from a lot of the rocks and pebbles and debris that's in the mixed in with the clay. You can tell just looking at these piles over here, a lot of the clay has been washed away, and you see a lot of the gravel that's on top. That's a lot of what we've been having to deal with. But this is one of the 2 clay pits. We're probably not going to use this very much for the second phase because we're clear over on the east side of the house when our main entrance is on the west side. So when I rent the mini excavator for a day, we're going to dig some clay out of the location where the pond is at, kind of expand the pond a little bit, and move that clay to the west side of the house where we're now going to be bringing the screenings. This is one other method we've been using to separate some of the clay from the soil out here and the rocks. And this is a lot of the rocks that we were screening out. We have this 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch square mesh with some plants growing in it now. And this is just one other method for separating this. So we're going to be cleaning this out and getting ready to reuse this stuff. When we dug out the basement for the Earthbag house, this is a lot of the rock. Once we were down about 4 feet, we were encountering a lot of bedrock. And this is a lot of what we had to take out to get down to the depth that we needed. And these rocks, if we don't have another use for them, we'll probably put them up next to the house and they'll be buried in the dirt that's sloped away from the house and the foundation. This is where we were previously mixing these screenings. And you can see the cement mixer under the tarp over there. This is where we had our whole operation being ran last year, because most of the work we were working on was the utility room over here. So we're going to be moving everything over that direction. We're currently on the north side of the house. We're going to be over to the west side of the house. The screening files will be delivered there. And I'll keep everything a lot closer to where we need to use it, so we're not using as much physical labor to move all this. Alright, so a lot of things scattered about. Some members of the family helped out a little bit with some of the paper crating during the winter. Most of that we'll see up top. And you can see this nice curved wall here. This is the outside of the 3,000 gallon rainwater cistern that we've installed. So part of the project is going to be doing some paper crating in here and getting these walls finished up. We've got places, conduits coming through the walls in various places. That's going to be an electrical wire coming through there. Other places it might be plumbing. We're going to have the radiant and floor heating pipes coming into this space here. All right. And over in this corner here, this big gray pipe here is where our electrical service wire. There's a triplex 4-aught aluminum wire that's inside this here. It's sleeved in this pipe for the time being to help protect it, but the electrical panel is going to be right here, and this is where all the electrical components of the house will tie into. Oh, and one other thing back here, before I forget, all these pipes you see over here, that's all going to be part of the water system. Right? Those pipes go quite a few different places. One goes to the far left white pipe there, actually goes all the way out to the pond. So excess water that we're not using in the cistern will be pumped slightly uphill to the pond in case we need to use it for anything in the future. And the other pipes there, they go out to the RV shelter, they go out to our storage shed, and they also go 1,000 feet underground all the way in the direction towards our first tier lot that is on the side, actually borders the lake. Alright, so you can see some of the work that's been done throughout the winter is just a little bit of the papercrete in the gaps between the bags, and we got a lot of debris and stuff set out and in different places, and electrical panels over there. We do have a dehumidifier over here. That was to help keep it a little bit drier in here during the winter season. There was a propane heater in here. It looks like it's been taken out. But anyway, once the walls were covered with papercrete that's all wet, we needed to get the humidity out of the air. So you can see that some of the walls were not complete up high. That's what we're going to be working on. We've last November when we were working on this, we were making really great progress, and then suddenly a cold front came through, temperatures dropped below freezing, and during the nights they were going to continue going below freezing for the next 2 weeks and beyond, since winter was coming, and there's no way we could really continue putting the Earthbag walls up at that point. So that's why everything was kind of left on short notice, so to speak. All right, I think that's about it.